Good day everyone and welcome to Exile News, the weekly show that brings you all the important news and informations on Path of Exile. And the first news, already on the last news last week, has been a couple more talent competition submissions. These guys are not taking a prize, but they are getting featured on the GGG site, so that's pretty cool as well, and glad that GGG is still recognizing even more art from the community. And also, the big news this week has been the release of the informations about the new league, and well, GGG first teased the fact that they were ready for the press tour, or the press tour was actually done and they were ready to release the informations, and finally they got out, and it's Legion. So Path of Exile Legion is gonna be the 3.7 announcement, and straight up on this landing page you can absolutely check the bike list. This time it's a very special feature recorded in advance with Jonathan Rogers, because it has some informations that are not available on other sites, are not available so in depth on the site as well. So definitely check this one out if you have the time. It's a bit long, but it's definitely worth it, and it's all about melee combat, how it has been improved and how it actually happens now, so absolutely worth it. Also, ZiggyD's videos is really good as usual. The other guys, well, if you are a fan of those, but really you can just skip those and no one cares about it. Anyway, there's the trailer, very cool, just check it out. And then Path of Exile Legion, I'm gonna go very quickly because most of you probably know everything about it. But anyway, you're gonna find this obelisk and or monolith, which is pretty much the same thing in this case, and it's gonna be closed. You touch it, it opens up, it reveals 2 warring factions, and then you can hit the monsters that you want, you can hit the ones that you want, they are frozen, and after a short time they kind of get released, and you can fight them for the rewards. And it's very much like Breach, because you have splinters, and you combine them and they make an emblem, and you use 2 emblems to open up a portal to another realm where you fight the armies and probably find a boss. And it's really exactly like Breach, because in Breach you needed 100 splinters for 1 boss, and now you need 2 stacks of 50 for 1 boss. So it's pretty much the same thing. The difference is that here you can choose your own difficulty, because if you know you are weak, you can just open up very few monsters. If you know you're very strong, you can just open up all of those and then kill them all, and that should work really well. Also, you can see some monsters will have a special icon over their head, and it will symbolize that they drop additional or more focused loot specific. So this one has probably currency in it, or even a specific chaos orb. We'll have to see about that. It's probably currency though. And there's also incubation, so you can get these kind of eggs as drops, and as you can see, you can add it to a weapon or even other piece, whatever you have on you pretty much. And after you kill enough monsters, you will get the item. So this one gives you a unique weapon, and this one gives you a Harbinger item. It can be anything, but still, it's definitely one more way to farm, and a better way to farm specific things. If you're looking for a card, you might want to go all cards. If you're looking for Harbinger stuff, you might want to go for this. I mean, it's definitely interesting, and also it has pretty low kill counts, because to be honest, 2000. You can get it pretty fast, even if you're not doing crazy maps. That's pretty cool. Also, a very crazy stuff is these new historic jewels, and they're limited to 1 because they are crazy enough, and it doesn't say much here, but the point is that passives in radius are conquered by the Vol, and as you can see here, the radius is large, and all of the nodes here have been corrupted pretty much, and they have a totally different thing than they did before, or so it's supposed, because we don't have any information on the smaller one, but we know the keystones are actually totally different. So these jewels are gonna be rare as hell, and they are gonna be powerful as hell. They are gonna corrupt or change the tree. For every jewel, for every slot is gonna do everything different. So it's gonna be crazy, and it's gonna be absolutely amazing for those people who can actually play a lot, and it's gonna be amazing for those people who actually watch highlights and stuff, because they will find new things for a lot of time. And I expect this league not to be completed in like 1 week, which is pretty much what happened with the other leagues. But anyway, the melee combat has been completely revamped, and you can watch the bike last episode for this, but still, pretty much there are instant movement skills, although not if you repeat them, so that you can actually have instant movement skills right away if you need them, and then if you want to use them multiple times, so if you are just using them to travel around the map, you will not have this movement advantage. And there's also other movement skills, new movement skills, which are pretty cool, and there's animation cancelling and all the kind of stuff that will make the combat feel much better overall. Definitely check this out. I'm not gonna go very much into the specifics, but you can just check the trailer and you will know more about the combat revamp. It's definitely gonna feel weird for the first 5 minutes, and then it's gonna feel awesome. So can't wait to try that out. There's of course new build archetypes, which is something that GGG is trying to introduce, focusing players on specific builds or general builds, like for example this new Blood and Sand Gladiator, which seems to be something that GG is pointing to. It's kind of a rework of the Gladiator, I guess, where he's using a new stance and a new reservation effect, and it's gonna work out pretty well. There's also new defensive skills, and there's the new reworked Berserker, which is gonna be crazy. There's no downside to rage, and it's amazing. You can check a couple of videos, you can check there is a Cyclone that goes like full screen big AoE. Cyclone is also very amazing right now, but I mean just for the visuals. And of course GGG reworked all of the early game monsters and rebalanced them up, and it's pretty much made by increasing their power, but also giving a better signal to the attacks and having a better or longer wind up for the attacks, so that you can actually dodge the attack, and if you fail you get hit harder, because of course you have higher chance to dodge it manually now, so it makes sense that you get more damage if you get hit. And well, another thing that's gonna be incredible, check the bike last video, because you will really understand what it means to evade these monsters now. There's also, of course, new uniques. There's new divination cards like these retarded exalted orbs, which is gonna be, which the only reason it's retarded is probably because it's retardedly rare. Absolutely, it's gonna be in the Looming Abyss, judging by the name, I guess. But it doesn't matter. I mean, 7 out of 7 of these is gonna be a way long time. Also, some of the uniques have been kind of reworked and became a little bit powerful because they have been attached to one of the 5 legions that are gonna be in the Legion League. And for example, Vol's Protector is not gonna drop normally now, but it has Inner Conviction, which I'm not sure what it does yet. Levianga's Wisdom, again, it's not gonna drop normally now, but it has life and mana, and it's much better than it was before. So it's really cool that these kind of uniques are changing, and it's just a cool thing that GGG is adding to the game. There's also obviously new supporter packs if you want to contribute to the game. And well, just a little quick note by GGG, where they want to say that when they release the informations for Path of Exile Legion, there was also an unfortunate leak of expansion informations. However, apparently I totally missed it, to be honest, but apparently the community handled it very well, and the devs and everyone involved handled it really well. So GG just wanted to say a quick thank you to the community and everyone involved for handling it that well. And we also got a little bit of an in-depth look to the new Bladestorm skill and 2 new reservation auras. So pretty much Bladestorm just performs a spinning attack, damaging enemies around you, and creates a spinning storm that hits multiple times the enemy around you. The rate is based, of course, on your attack time, and you can have multiple storms active at once. So it's nice. It's probably gonna work out because I mean it's one of the new skills, so it's not gonna suck terribly, hopefully. But I mean, GG is pushing so hard that if it's gonna suck, they're gonna be like, well. But anyway, there's 2 new stances, or rather, they're called stances because you can change between one stance and the other, but it's pretty much some reservation skills. So the first one, it's a low level skill, and it's called Blood and Sand, reserving only 10% of your mana. I mean, it's low level after all. And you can change between Blood stance and Sand stance. So in Blood stance, you will deal more area damage, but have less area, and the opposite in Sand stance, so you will have more area, but deal less damage on an area. And this is with melee skills, so you cannot actually abuse this with ranged or whatever. And using the skill, we'll switch stances. So It's pretty cool. Also, there's another reservation skill called Flesh and Stone, reserves 25% of your mana and creates a zone around you. And you can check the video, you will understand much better. Actually, I'm not gonna start that. But anyway, in the Blood stance, let me close that. In Blood stance, nearby enemies are maimed, so you can actually use some added damage on maimed enemies, or they will also basically take increased damage. Just even if you don't do anything. In Stand stance, nearby enemies are blinded and you take less damage from enemies that are nearby. This is absolutely amazing. I think this Stand stance can be used by archers as well, because I mean it will be really good for them. But it's great for melees who have to get kinda very close to the enemy, because there are some skills that are just so far for melee that you don't even really get close to enemies. But anyway, these reservations are pretty cool and they look really good, so definitely a very good improvement for melees that want to actually play melee, maybe cleave, maybe whatever, we'll see how that goes. The trailers point really hard on the new Bladestorm skill and on Cyclone because it looks absolutely amazing now. But anyway, there's also improvements for the boss fights in Path of Exile Legion, and pretty much the improvements are for the staged bosses, while during the immunity phases there are a bit more ads, at least it looks like that, and the ads drop items and give experience. So this is amazing because now people might actually not skip phase bosses. We'll see if that is worth it. Definitely normal people will have more of a reason to do bosses, and hopefully they will drop maps as well, so that will mean increasing chance for your map pool, which is always really nice. And we also got a couple more divination cards. There are 14 new divination cards, a couple have been announced already, and these are 6 new, including the first, to my knowledge, true implicit corrupted item, which, well, it's a Fidelis a spike, but who knows, true implicit corruption might actually make it extremely good. There's also 6 Link Imperial Bow, a corrupted Tabula Rasa, and I mean, divination cards are always nice. There's so many, and I feel like I always end up collecting just the same 5 sets or whatever. But still, it's nice to see that there are different types, and you can actually think of target farming these if you so want. Also, a very useful post by GGG where they compile all of the Legion teasers as they're posted, and the most recent ones are be on top. And just to show, you can check those out if you want, but just to show one of these historic jewels, how crazy they are. This is a Keystone Corrupted, and it's totally changed. It gives 80% of your mana converted to twice that much of armor. So if you have like 1000 mana, it takes 800 mana, and then it converts it to 1600 armor. Of course, if you are a Guardian and you get to crazy amounts of mana, you can probably get to so much armor that no physical hit is gonna hurt you. But we'll have to see how that works. There's others here, and they seem all to be really strong, or so strong that they need a drawback, and some of those I actually have a drawback for how strong they are. So definitely interesting stuff, and there's much more if you go into this. Check out the links, check out the Bay class, check out ZiggyD's videos, and keep yourself updated, because next week the leagues are gonna start. There's only 11 days left, so, well, not actually next week, but the week after, of course. Although it's next week by today because it's Monday. But anyway, that was all for this week. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and a comment down below. Also, if you want to remain updated every week, be sure to subscribe to my channel. So that was all. I've been your host Giorgio, and I'll see you guys the next time.